man, like maybe 6 months ago, and I actually, reached out to you, and I was just telling you I'm gonna take your consultation, and life happened, the coronavirus, etc. So I finally got around to getting a consultation with you, man. Yeah,
My square
yeah,
brother, man. It is an honor to meet you, brother. It
yeah,
is an honor, man.
yeah. Sure, sure,
What you
sure.
doing in Asia though?
Man, I left America. Man. I got tired of getting shot or getting shot at, man. So,
I feel
whether
that.
it's the police or the inner city, yeah, man, I had to get away from there, man. To be
It's
honest,
funny
man,
you
I
mentioned
had to
that.
get away from there.
I've been feeling that a lot. I'm like, I don't know where. I'm like, where is the black man welcome on planet Earth?
Nowhere, only in Africa. To be honest, man. Yeah,
It's a
yeah, it's
mind.
sad, man.
I don't
It's
want to
sad.
say it's a mind F. It's a mind screw, isn't it? When you wake up in the morning, like, where am I welcome? I got all the money. I got all this. I got all that. I got all this. Where am I welcome?
Right, right.
I'm
Exactly,
crazy, man.
exactly. So yeah,
So you just moved
I
to
just
Asia.
migrated here, man. Moved to
You
Asia,
just
man. Yeah, the money's good here. The opportunities here. Quality of living is better. Cost of living is super low, and so you can come here and depending on how you play your cards, if you got student loans, you can pay off your student loans in a year or 2 years and go back to America debt free, man.
you
You
got me
know,
tearing up,
um,
man.
yeah,
Unbelievable. What?
yeah,
Where are you? So I can write this down. I need to know where the hell you at, man. I'm like, if you fucking just moved
yeah.
to,
I'm in China, man.
I mean, you're in China. Is there a specific
Yeah, I'm in
particular
China.
location I need to write down to research?
Yeah, Shanghai, China. I'm in Shanghai, China, man. The city by the sea.
It's beautiful over there, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's China, man. It has its pros and its cons, man. Like America, there's no perfect place. But like I said, it's doable for now, economically and financially. I have goals, man. So I wanted to purchase a home in America, but I just living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to save is real tough, man. So actually, I went to school in Texas, man. Went to PV Prairie View AMU,
Mhm.
and then once I was finished, man, I only found a part-time job paying like $12 an hour. You know,
Get the hell
like
out of here.
40,000, yeah, $40,000 in student loans, and I couldn't find a job, so went to fire school, tried to become a firefighter, and the bills were just adding up, and I couldn't finish paramedic school, so I found a job elsewhere overseas, man, paying way more. And my goal was to make like 3 grand a month. And then I surpassed that goal. And now I'm just, yeah, man, I'm able to save like, 50, 60% of my paycheck, man, every month, man.
It's funny how goals become in your rearview mirror, right? It's like, man, I should have had my
Sure.
goals. For me, I'm like, oh, I had a goal too, and I passed it. I'm like, God, why did you
Mm,
give me these? So, why did you give me these minuscule goals?
right, right,
Right?
right. So you got to constantly, like Les Brown is a guy, famous speaker named Les Brown. He talks about being hungry. So, once you reach your first goal, your second goal, third goal, you got to remain hungry, you got to be hungry, and constantly telling yourself. Another gentleman that I listen to, David Goggins, he talks about, you just got to be, you got to that inner voice in your mind, man. Set those goals and envision yourself completing those goals. Um, yeah. So
I'm taking notes,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
That's why
that's the
I love being live, so I can take notes and I can share. Like, I don't know who
yeah,
that dude is, but I'm like, man, people need to know this stuff.
right. Sure, sure. Yeah. But yeah, bro, that's pretty much my story, man. But I saw you on YouTube, and I saw you talking about trust, man. You were just talking about trust and putting properties in the trust, and that's what got my attention. So I went to real estate school a few times. I didn't practice real estate. I realized that I wanted to become an investor and not just make 6%, 3% commission.
Now, hold up. When you say you went to real estate school, you went to real estate sales school or investor school?
Right. I
Which
went to
one?
real estate school, and I took an investor course. So took a real estate program in Texas. I also took a real estate course and the real estate test, state of New York test in New York for selling rental leases,
Wow.
on rental leases. And then I went to Texas. The laws are different. And I had to learn like homestead law and study real estate all over again from the Texas real estate perspective. And then I changed my perspective after reading a book by this lady named Lisa Phillips. And she wrote a book. Yeah, Lisa Phillips. She wrote a book, and her book talks about how to acquire sub 30K properties. Because the way the game is written, they in America we're taught to overconsume, right? So buy a big house, buy things you don't need, buy a lot of clothes, consume, consume, consume. And her
We the worst.
her process of purchasing real estate is inverted. So if you have a $500,000 home, 10% is 50 grand. Her methodology is why spend the 50 grand when you can take that 50 grand cash and just purchase a $50,000 home or $40,000 home outright with the cash and get instant equity and cash flow immediately. You're gonna take the deed to the bank. Then the bank is gonna be more willing, more apt, and running to give you money because the bank doesn't want you to make money without them. But you didn't need a mortgage in the first place to get the first property. So your first property is like your anchor. You get more income coming in. You get more access to more capital, leverage capital. You can buy more homes in the Burr method, I guess you could say. But just rinse and repeat that process. Yeah.
I ain't mad at it, man. But you can't do that with a I mean, I don't want to say can't. It's challenging to do with a family. Now, if you're a single man, yes. But if you got 3, 4 kids, you know.
Right. For sure. Yeah, I dig it, man. I mean, I have a son, man. So that's one of my motivations is trying to figure out the legal loopholes to kind of put properties in a trust as opposed to a LLC like you recommended. And I was just trying to understand that process of, why the trust and how do you put it in like a trust and things of that nature.
Real fast, John, where's your boy?
He's in America with his mom. Most black women not letting their young son, travel 7,000 miles away without him. Not generalizing, but
I'm just framing up your life so I can get a picture, where you at and all that. I'm not putting you out there, man. I'm just trying to get a picture of who you are, my friend. That's all. So, son,
that's cool, man. I'm just a young guy, man, from the inner city, man, of America, man, who had a second chance, and I'm making the most of that second chance, until the time ends. But I'm just making the most of it. And a lot of people who come from the inner city, Brooklyn, Queens, any ghetto in America, we don't usually make it past 25, 30, we rapping or, playing basketball in the light, or doing something that's illegal, right? That's going to wind up in 2 directions or 2 paths, dead or in prison. So, yeah, man, yeah, man, just trying to take advantage of the information out here, man. We have no excuses as millennials. We carry computers in our pocket. There are people like yourself who preach, financial literacy, real estate literacy. And there's a multitude of other people who are doing the same thing, man. And so, yeah, like I said, it just goes back to having goals and remaining hungry, man. I'm just hungry, man.
Wow. How old are you, John?
I'm 33, man. I'm that golden number, man. For sure.
You got 30s is the best years, man.
Yeah.
All right. When I look back, I burnt up my 20s like a dummy. I wish I could just do some of the stuff that I did. But now you got your eyes been open, so you understand. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to end up with. Well, for me, I was headed with having nothing by the time I'm 40, 50, 60.
Right.
So I'm presuming that you had that same epiphany.
Sure did.
All right. Yeah. Good for you. Because a lot of dudes, my daughter's like, well, my kids look at me like, Dad, since you're 45, when you turn 60, you'll have more than what you have now. I'm like, no, that ain't how it works. A lot of grown ass men, 60, 70, they don't got nothing, So some people don't, they don't even relate. Growing older, getting more, it's almost like you live in the same years over and over and over again for some people.
Right.
But you open to that. So trust, I'm so glad that you are willing to not put these houses in your name. So that's where we at with you. So I gotta man, I need to just do a whole course on it, man. So you can just click a button and go through it. But the main thing is the trust is personal property, and we put. See if I can get a demonstration. We put the house inside of the trust. Now I don't want you to get caught up on the word trust, John, because it's just black ink on white paper. All right. And where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Queens, man. Queens, New York.
I was gonna say you look like I want to box you. You look like a Queens dude. My main guy from the music
Yeah.
business was from Queens. I mean, we was in the
Okay.
music business for 10 years.
Okay. Okay.
Y'all look like
Yeah.
cousins. So
Okay.
anyway,
Okay. Hmm.
the house goes into the trust, but the trust, you got to remember, is nothing but a document.
Right.
Nothing but a document, right? So you have the house. So when you write up your purchase agreement,
Hmm.
you don't put your name or the LLC. You just put the trust as the buyer. So let me see if I can show you what we got now. I'm going to be closing it this week. Let me show you what the contract looks like. If I got it, shit. Hold tight. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Let me share my screen so you can see it. This is good stuff. Let's see, it's due from Queens. I'm like, no, he's in Queens. So here's the one I just drew up, right? Can you see that?
Yeah. I see it.
So this is my purchase and sales agreement here. The seller, I always just put owner of record. And then you'll see down here, that's the what is it? The address number. I just make it out of thin air. Every time we do a deal, I just take the street, so the address of the house is 5013 Evelyn Court. So I just take the street address, John, and I just put it right there. So the
So like
buyer, go ahead.
a real estate agent, this is like legal. Like, so when you're talking to a real estate agent, and they're like, can you do this even if you have a mortgage for that property?
Absolutely, brother. Now, don't forget, John, you got to be careful. You can't be out here on the streets talking this stuff, man. People going to think you crazy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Gotcha.
So we got to get over that first. They're going to think you crazy, man. So it took a while for my channel to blow up because people thought I was crazy into forgetting it.
Mm-hmm.
You with me? So be careful on who you mention this stuff to, man, because people, even attorneys,
Gotcha.
So if you talk to a real estate
Right.
agent, they're going to be like, "No, you can't do that."
Right.
So when you draw up your contract, okay, so you're coming from the perspective of already owning the house.
Oh no, just trying to acquire the property even.
Either way, so you
See
can
what I'm
buy it.
saying?
Go ahead, yeah. You buy it, whether it has a mortgage on it or not. Either way, man, 100% without exception, we put every house in a trust. Whether I'm going to wholesale it, whether I'm going to buy it subject to with a mortgage, if I'm going to buy it cash or go get a loan. Either way. Now, sometimes the lender won't allow you to do it, John. However, after you buy it, you can always
Right.
just transfer it over.
Okay.
So we make the
Gotcha.
name. The thing is the name of the trust. I used to name it the street name. Then we got so many of them, I got confused. So now I just started putting the street number. So you want to operate in anonymity. So people can't just go search up your name and find you. So the house goes
All
into
right.
the trust. And when you fill out that trust document, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's simple stuff, man. As long as you know, it just takes a few minutes to get it. That's all.
Okay.
And pull it up. Here we go. So here's a trust agreement. It's just, I mean, it's a lot of words, but at the beginning, all it says is you or your LLC. Your LLC will be the beneficiary. So the beneficiary is the one that benefits from all the rents, all the refinance, all that stuff. Put your trustee name there. Do you have somebody you trust that can be your trustee, John?
Yeah, it'd probably be like one of my friends' college roommates or something like that.
Yep, as long as they get the last name, I'm good. I mean, I'm sorry. As long as they got a different last name, I'm good with that. So this is your trust agreement right here. You put it all. You can just fill this out. It's a few blanks to fill out, and at the end, oops, sorry about that. You got the property name. All you're doing is putting the property name in there, legal description, and your trustee signs it right there, brother. Beneficiary, you sign. Trustee signs. Now you can sign on behalf of your company. You can put, I don't know, your LLC, or you can be the beneficiary personally, but we use the LLC. And you could do it over there. They could FedEx it to you, or next day mail it, or DocuSign. This is, so it's real. It's actually simple. It's really about getting the concept down. Once you get the concept down, then the paperwork is simple.
Right. Okay.
So do you have the beneficiary? You got all the beneficiary trustee? You understand how all that works?
Yeah. I've taken the time to videos over and over again a few times. So just understanding the language. My mom used to work for J.P. Morgan Chase, so used to do mortgages and et cetera, et cetera. So kind of familiar with the language of real estate, but learning trust and beneficiary. Owning stock accounts. You have to have You don't have to have a beneficiary, but it will behoove one to have a beneficiary. So
there you go, bro. Same concept. Now with mortgages, it's a little different because the trustee might be the person that's drafting up the mortgage or whatever. But in this instance, the trustee is just your employee, so they do whatever they ask them to do. You got it. It sounds like you already got it, though, John.
I mean, I just study, man. Just spent hours studying, man. Studying the process, man. Study so you show yourself approved, man. So I just read, man, constantly, man. Yeah, it's chess, man, not checkers. Yes, man. Standing is he who owns the land and the money. So you got money, you can buy resources.
Man, you talking, man. Sound like you got a message, bro.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wrote a book about this, so I'm serious, man.
Where's your book at? Tell the people. Can we buy it? Where we buy it at?
Oh yeah, Amazon.com. It's called an eccentric story. An eccentric story. That's ANECCENTRIC. An eccentric story. STORY. From this to this. FROMTHISTOTHIS. Amazon.com. An eccentric story from this to this, man. That's the blueprint and the explanation to who I am and my motivation.
Wow, I'm gonna put that on the screen. Get you some sales, man. Shit. Eccentric story.
I appreciate it, man.
I gotta get a link for that.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Write books.
Yeah. I mean, if you let other people tell your story, everybody get it wrong, right? Yeah. So it's in history. It's written there. It's in history. It's etched in history in the Library of Congress, man. No one can duplicate it, but can't fabricate it. So yeah.
Good for you. You want some stuff, man. You got a little more than the average guy. I can tell where you're talking, man, especially with your digital copywriting stuff. You know what's going on, bro.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I appreciate it. I appreciate you explaining the trust, man. So I'm just trying to figure out, like you said, if you purchase it and you can always transfer it, after the fact.
They can't
is that usually huh?
Go ahead. Is it usually what?
I said, so like, let's say, you do have a mortgage on it or something like that. Will they stop you from transferring it?
Man, once again, the house I live in, man, we buy them all the time. I bought this house. It's called Subject to. You familiar with that strategy?
No.
All right, so Subject to is where we go in and we buy the house subject to the existing financing, right? So I bought this house right here that I live in. The lady had a mortgage on it. I still bought it because we got to remember in our mind, buying a house is nothing but the seller signing a deed to the buyer. That's it. All right. Now, all this mortgage and realtor and loan officer and underwriting, we have attached all that to buying and selling a house, unfortunately. So when you transfer the title out of your name into your trust, it's the same thing. The lender is not even going to know. As long as you make the payments, man, they don't care. Shit, man, you could transfer title, boom, 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 boom. Because when you think about it, you say your mother was in the mortgage industry. Mortgage companies do the same stuff, John. They sell mortgages from Wells Fargo to Bank of America to
Right.
Do they ever ask
Mortgage-backed
permission?
securities. Yeah.
Yeah. Do
Right.
they ever ask permission by the owner?
Right. No. Right.
Never. Right. So they got these loans bouncing around, and you sitting there. I gotta make my payment to Wells Fargo. I gotta make my payment to Thrift. You change it so they don't care when you change your ownership of the property. Now they do have obviously a due on sale clause, but man, that is so rare that it pops up. I've never experienced it. My mentor's been doing it for 30 years. They've fixed it. They've seen it once.
Okay.
So when you transfer it out of your name to the trust, I mean, shit. I wouldn't worry about it. I've done it several times on my rental properties. Because all the ones I bought, before I learned this stuff, I bought a bunch of rental properties with mortgages in my name. So as the years went on, I had to, when you start now, we all don't know. You don't know. So I started to transfer them over to trust one at a time. I still got a few left that I still haven't transferred because it is very hard to transfer a house after you own it into the trust. It's easier to buy it in the trust.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know why. It's like a mental thing.
So you say LLC, and in your opinion, the LLC is because the LLC is in your name, so it's not good to put a home in the LLC per se. That's a question that I have for you.
Not good. I mean, it's just another layer of protection because with the trust owns it, your LLC is the beneficiary of the trust. It's another layer, brother. You can do your LLC. I just don't want my LLC on record. Because say we got J. DeWalt LLC or whatever your LLC is, all I got to do is go to the state corporation SEC website. I can find out who the managing member is or the operating, what do they call it? Registered agent. Unless you're in like Delaware or, I don't know, Nevada or something.
Okay.
If I wanted to. But if it's in, I promise you, if it's in 512 trust, ain't nobody. I mean, I'm not saying they won't find you, but they're going to have a conversation with their pocketbook to find you.
Right. Gotcha.
So, none of this stuff is bulletproof, brother. It's just another layer.
Right. I have a question. So let's say, I meet a woman and I own like 4 or 5 properties. Can I like put the properties in the trust so that way if the relationship doesn't go right, if I don't have like a prenup or something, she can't take like my homes?
Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving any professional advice.
Sure.
My opinion.
Of course. Sure.
We want to always have our homes in a trust, brother. So the problem when you're talking about before marriage or after?
Before marriage, of course. Like, if I meet her and while we're dating, I acquire a home or 2 homes, she can say later on, well, I helped you acquire those, but it's really like, well, you may or may not have helped, but we were dating, we weren't wedded yet, that kind of thing. Gray area.
Could be great, man. Yeah. See, the problem is you can't have from the IRS.
Right.
So Trusts are really designed to make it so you're anonymous, right? They don't necessarily give you any protection or as the people can still find you. So when people do a search on Chris Haskins, even my coaching clients that have been to my house, they're like, Chris, I pulled your house up on the city records and it's not your name on it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's not my name. So once you get people know, because I have to report them all on my tax returns. So if you're, they're all there. It's
okay.
So every one of my properties, because I have to depreciation, income, expenses, all that. So if they got access to that, man, they can get you.
So basically, you have to, even though you own 123 property, 123 lane, you still have to put it on your taxes.
No, the IRS doesn't necessarily. They don't require you to do it, John. But if you don't get the benefits of the depreciation or the expenses. So you could just say that, let's say you made $1,000 a month rent for $12,000 for the year. You got that income came in, but you got no expense. So the IRS is going to say, well, shit, you made $12,000. But we know we have real estate taxes. We've got insurance. We got repairs, mortgage payment, interest, all that stuff. So I remember, I've been audited twice. So the lady's like, you don't have to put this on if you don't want to. But if you don't, you pay the maximum taxes. That's how they get you.
Right.
They make it so, no, you don't gotta put it there, but you can't get none of the deductions.
Right. Okay. Deductions.
So the trust is a flow-through entity. So all the income flows right through to either through your LLC or to your social security number. You do not get a tax ID on these things.
Okay. Got you. The question I was going to ask about it. I'll go back to my notes.
You good?
So I can set up the trust myself, because a lot of lawyers, man, they advertise, for $1,000, we'll set up your trust for you. What's your take on that?
Well, I have paid them in the past, but when I start seeing the same I'm like, these fools changing one little blank and charging me. I'm like, I could do this. So I just finally got the doc. I bought so many docs from different people over the years. I'm like, I could do it myself. So that's why I'm so big on them, because people get charged $1,000 when all it is click print and it's over.
All right. And so this document, it's a living document, basically. You just keep it with you, or your trustee keeps the one copy. You keep a copy.
You just keep it right in the file cabinet. So I'll show you one of mine. This is one of my rental properties, right? So I just keep trust right in here. After you buy it, let's see. There you go. Trust stays in your file cabinet. No one sees it but you.
Okay.
So you buy the house. This is what your rental property gonna look like. This is called wealth management, managing tenants and leases. This is rental property over time, bro.
Right. So another question that I have in regards to trust. Slip. Oh, yeah, I got it. So if you have stocks, like let's say you're a day trader, can you put your stocks in a trust account, or can only an LLC? I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
I'm not. I know my boy Bill Brunchick has a trust course. They have something called a paper trust where you can put personal assets in there. But all my stocks are done through my IRA, so I don't even own them. My IRA owns them.
I got it. Right. Okay, that's cool.
Tax-free.
That's cool. All right. Okay. I also have a question. So for certain expats living abroad, I know you do real estate. A lot of mortgage companies require you to have pay stubs of W-2. But if you work for like in the UAE or in Asia, and you don't work for an American employer that goes through the IRS tax system, it's very hard to secure financing like a mortgage or for underwriting standards without a pay stub or a W-2. Do you have other strategies of acquiring loans besides a hard money loan, of course? Like, do you know of any other companies? I tried Better Mortgage, but they're still, looking for that pay stub or looking for basically proof that you work. My only proof I have is my taxing. I file taxes, but I take like huge deductions for foreign income and living abroad, paying rent, etc., etc.
So
So
you
I
like a
just,
typical
I guess,
entrepreneur.
right,
You like
pretty much,
okay.
pretty much.
Let me
Right.
see something.
But I'm not an S corp. I'm only an LLC, so I don't have like the S corp privileges. I'm taxed like an S corp, but I don't have W-2s to pay myself at the moment.
Yeah, so you don't get a salary.
No, I don't get a salary. I don't generate enough right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. That's why I was there for many years. Let me see if I can get you
Right.
this. How's your credit?
Credit's good. It's above 700. I mean, the FICO's like 660 or something, 650.
All
Um,
right.
my mortgage, whatever they use for Experian is like 650, 660.
Let me see if I can get you this link here. I have a relationship with a company called Fund and Grow. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm gonna put this link here.
Appreciate it.
So far, I can look on here. They show me. I'm not gonna share it, but they've loaned 3.2
Okay.
million to my roundup homies. I'll put this link right here. Called business credit lines. You get a discount if you use this link. I think that's the right one. There you go. You can just register for a webinar they gave you. It should be right there. Oh, I'll send it to you in
Okay.
it's a private chat too. I'll put it there in the private chat. So roundup if you need business credit lines. So what they do is they have this relationships with these banks, dude. I have no idea how they do it, John, but
Mhm.
once you apply, they have this thing where they go back and forth with the bank to increase your credit lines. And I got one
Mhm.
client that got 100 some thousand, man. So how much do you need?
Honestly, man, I'm like economical, so I'm not trying to purchase a home over 60,000. I don't believe in purchasing $100,000 home to be over leveraged because when the economy tanks, you're kind of underwater, so 60,000 is manageable. My theory is if you make 50,000 a year, you have no business in a $250,000 home, right? Unless you have liquid cash in that same amount in case you go underwater. So if you make 50,000 a year, I think 100,000 is your maximum. And the tenant, put a tenant in there. If you house hacking, you can live in one part of the home or the other, etc. But me, I just don't want to be over leveraged that much. So 60,000 is cool. I'm just sub 30K, sub 60K in that area.
Man, you should be teaching, bro. You should be doing some teaching these people what to do, bro. I just came from Atlanta. You
Yeah, I
talking
thought
about
about
that
it,
is
man.
the land of the overconsumption down there, bro. Them
Right.
fools down there spending I seen so many Rolls Royce. This is crazy. It's crazy down there, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I have another question. So, can you put your kids, could you put your kids as a beneficiary on your trust on these properties? If you want to buy a property, if you got 5 kids, you want to give each kid a property, can they be like the beneficiaries on the trust or just the LLC?
That's a good question. I don't know about if they're under 18. But yeah, you can make whoever you want.
Mm,
And in my land trust docs, you can have it to where you can assign the minute. Like if today you are the beneficiary, you can assign it over to your kid and they can be the beneficiary tomorrow. And
mm,
it's just, that's the power of trust. You
right,
don't even have to change the deed to change ownership.
right,
You don't even have to change the
right.
deed. Because if you own 123 Main Street Trust today, you're the beneficiary. and you assign that beneficial interest, you can sell it for $5,000, right? Or you can sell it for $1 or whatever. Tomorrow, you got John DeWalt Jr. He's the beneficiary. So you do have to claim it on the on your taxes, but you don't have to change the deed stays the same. That's why I love him so much, because you can sell the house without even having to pay the fees to sell it. Because the trust is not gonna, you know what I mean? The trust, 123 Main Street is still on title. You with me? So who owns it is between you and the buyer. But that is a taxable event, so you got to report that stuff.
Right, of course. So even if you change it, even if you have a home 123 property and you on 123 Lane and you have it in a trust and you sell the trust to someone else, you still have to report that sale
to the IRS. Absolutely.
Okay, so if I sold the deed for $5,000, I still got to report I sold it for $5,000.
That's right, bro. Okay. Yeah, man. You gotta. Yeah, that's a taxable event. You changed ownership of real estate. Taxable event. Even if the title didn't change, you changed ownership of the real estate. So now he's going to start depreciating that asset on his tax returns.
Right, true.
Right? So you'll want to get him done with that.
Yeah. Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I got a question, man. Another real estate question for you, bro. What's your opinion on tax deed properties or title tax liens? Do you have an opinion on it?
I would look into them more, but they don't do that in Virginia.
Okay.
I believe my boy Eddie, they do it in Georgia, but you got to deal with redemptions, and as long as your money's right, because you have to buy it back. Well, if the owner, they have that redemption period. So I would do them, but I don't have any experience in them.
Okay.
Maybe I should. I don't know, man. Just a lot of that's coming up, bro.
Yeah.
Especially coronavirus.
Right. Now, like I said, man, I mean, having the capital is one thing. It's just, if you got $10,000, you don't want to spend, only 10K because cash is king, right? So, in that instance, you want to, try to get, a loan for the 10K or 20K or 30K, whatever it is. And then you can leverage that way. And so the tax deeds for me is just another easier way to get my foot in the door with real estate. Thought about mobile homes. It's just I took a mobile home investing course with a black couple that does it online. But the mobile homes, the thing about that is trying to find the right lot or the lot manager that'll allow you to purchase the mobile home and then allow you to rent it out, so there's a lot of nuances. But there are different nuances with everything, man. With everything.
It sounds like
I'm trying to figure it out.
It sounds like we need to get you a little trained on subject 2. Because subject 2, where you go in and take over the people's debt, and all you do is buy the house and you just keep making their payments. John, there is no qualifying. There is no.
You said what?
There is no qualifying. There is no tax returns. Ain't no credit score. No down payment. I mean, there isn't even an application.
Right.
So you
just talking to the homeowner pretty much.
Yeah, you're dealing with the homeowner, but you probably, 9 times out of 10, somebody that's listing their house on the MLS, they have to be in distress to do subject 2, generally speaking. So when we bought, I mean, I can't remember how many we've done over the years, but all you do is you give them a few dollars and they move them down the street. You take over their mortgage payments and it's over. You got to.
I guess the $1 million question is finding them. One more time.
You got a good picture there, right? You can picture taking over somebody's payments.
No, I understand. Yeah. I mean, in essence, if I take out a mortgage, I'm gonna be paying my own mortgage anyway.
Same thing. But you qualify for it though.
Yeah, I qualify for a mortgage. It's just the pay stub issue.
That we ain't, I'm talking none of that. I'm talking about subject to is where you say you bought a house, right? You qualify for the loan, 60,000, whatever. You ready to move? I'm like, John, here's 5,000. I'm just take over your payments. Is that cool?
Mm.
You can either say yes or no. You know, a lot of times people don't have equity do that all the time, or they go into foreclosure next week. So that is the way that you could buy. If you go to matter of fact, I got a playlist on subject to.
Okay.
Subject to is the most powerful tool you're gonna implement and deploy in this game, bro. And don't let me. A lot of realtors are gonna say you can't do that. But be careful once again with who you mention this stuff to.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. I got you. Makes sense.
Let me give you this playlist here. Here we go. Here's a playlist we're walking down subject to. Put it in the comments and I'll send you a private chat too.
Okay, thanks, man.
So this one, there is no qualifying, John. There is no bank stub, checks, none of that. Like, I want you to feel me. I don't live in that world. You know, check
Right.
tax return, bank statements, credit score. You know, I think that stuff is useful. But you could take over, dude. You could take over as much from other people as much debt as you want, you know. But you got to look for it. It takes time to find it. Somebody go to
Mm.
foreclosures next week. Miss Smith, we'll give you 5,000. Let us take over your payments. You know what I mean? They would be, because here's the mentality of people that sell their house subject to, right? They're getting nothing. They're losing the house. They have very little equity. And I remember when I bought this one here, they had some equity, but it needed repairs. So it's wise to
Right.
have a little down payment. So you can give the seller some money, and then you might have to catch up the arrears. So that could be 4,000 or 5,000. So, but then, dude, once you get in there, man, you're in. The house is yours. You didn't qualify for the loan. That's my favorite way to buy, man. And a lot of people, I will tell
Um.
you. Go ahead.
So what about the deed and the title? Like, even though you're paying a mortgage, can they always come back later and say, "Oh, I never did this. I never did this transaction with you. You know, I don't know who you are. You know, you stole my house," kind of thing. You know,
Yeah,
like, can
that
they
is
try to come and redeem it? You know, via the legal system.
there you go. That's why we have a whole packet of documents, John, that they sign, saying I'm in a clear right of mind. I got somebody explain this to me. I'm not expecting John to do anything. I understand that the loan will stay in my name. I'm selling my house. And remember at the beginning of our conversation, selling a house has nothing to do with the mortgage, right? All it is that deed.
Right.
Right. So that's why I preach to the top of the mountains. You can sell your house even if you have a loan on it. Right. You can sell your house. I don't care if you're $1 million. You can sell it with that loan on there. These alarms are gonna kill me. Keep me on time.
Right.
So you can
Right.
keep
I
it. You
got you.
can,
Understand.
yeah, bro.
So how do
That
you, when you're ready to sell the home? My question is, when you, let's say you close to paying it off, how do you sell it? Let's say you took it over at let's say $150,000 distressed property subject to,
yep.
and it had 75,000 left, and you're down to, like, 120. You paid 120 over, got 120 worth of equity, $30,000 left. How do you
Yep.
sell something like that?
Exact same way. So let's walk through it. So I'm buying house from John. You got John. Your foreclosure's next week. You're behind 5,000. I'm gonna give you 2,000 cash, and I'm gonna bring your payment current. So I'm out 7,000 at closing, right? You're gonna deed the property to my trust.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the buyer. Remember that contract we saw at the beginning? That's the buyer. I'm the buyer. So now I am the new owner. The trust is the new owner. So when you go sell the house, we have a document where you reach out to the lender, get the payoff. Say the payoff, I don't know, 120, like you said.
Right.
So the rest of the money goes to whoever the owner of the house is. See, we have our society and our culture have mixed up and intertwinkled and intermingled mortgages with houses. In actuality, they don't
Right.
go together. We think they
It's
do.
true.
It's not the house's fault that it's owned free and clear. My mentor used to say, Chris, it's not the house's fault that you owe $1 million. I never forget when I was going into foreclosure on my first few houses. He would be like, Chris, it's not the house's fault. It's not the house's fault
Right.
how much you owe. It's the same house.
Right.
Same house. It takes a little time to get over because I remember when I started, I'm like looking at houses, I would think of a mortgage.
Right.
And once you pay off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm like, man, they're just houses. The mortgage, we have layered houses with debt and loans and mortgages. And I can't stand it, man. Our society has done it. But when you understand the concept that they don't go together, see, it's not like a car.
Right.
The car
Right.
on the deed or with the title, you have credit union right on the title of the car. Right? So it's right there. But with your deed, ain't no lender on the deed. You got a deed. When you own a house, there is no mention of a lender. You have a deed of trust or a mortgage that goes with it. But the deed, ain't shit. The deed has nothing to do with the lender or a mortgage company. That's why I get so excited about subject 2, dude. You can buy unlimited amount of houses, dog. It's unlimited.
Right. Okay. But yeah, so the trick with that is to know what you can take on, basically, how many subject twos you take, basically. So if you gotta basically, you don't want to become too over leveraged with the subject twos, because then you kind of can come back to that can kind of backfire.
It can come and get you, but at the end of the day, we're going to operate with integrity. We're going to operate with the utmost of humility and empathy with our sellers, right? We're going to make sure we don't do that to people. But yes, and let's say it did. Say you got 10 of them and you say, you know what, I can't pay but 8. Right? Say that did happen. Then you can always deed the house back to the seller because the loan is not in your name, right? It's not affecting your credit.
Right.
But don't want to do that. Yeah, when you do subject to, man, you have to operate above board because you don't want grandma going to some attorney saying that John, he bought my house and didn't make it my mortgage pay.
Yeah.
I promise you don't want that, though. You don't want that, man.
Right.
So grandma start making noise, man. People listen.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's that's a lot of advice, man.
So subject
that
to
sounds a lot better. Yeah, it sounds better than tax deeds for sure. Way better than tax deeds or tax liens. Yeah, it's a lot of the tax deeds or the tax liens. If you acquired a home after you go through the redemption process, sometimes the county, the local government doesn't go through the proper process of doing a proper foreclosure. And so if you don't check that title with the title company, you can acquire some encumbrances or some liens that are against the property, and now you can't sell, and you kind of out of money. The goal here is not to lose money, right?
You could sell it. You just have to satisfy those encumbrances,
those liens, right? Yeah,
that's fine. But that's why you got to do a title search every time you buy something.
Right. That's another question. What does it cost to search a title? I mean, you have more experience than me. I've never purchased a home, but how much does it usually cost you out of pocket for that?
Well, we have 2 searches. We have 2 searches. Well, 3, right? The first search is where you can do on your own. You can go down to the courthouse, type the stuff in, and look at it on your own. You can see what's on there. All right, that's first. Second is called a current owner plus one. current owner plus one. Those are the searches that we do for, let's say, title deed, title foreclosure, or the mortgage company is foreclosing on the borrower. The train of thought with that is the lender wouldn't have loaned them $100,000 if the title was bad, right?
Right.
So the lender or the county wouldn't have let them get but so far behind on taxes without letting them transfer the title. So that's the current owner plus one. That costs me $75. And then a full title search is where they go back. I think it's 62 years. Every state's different. That's where you go back all the sellers back to the beginning to make sure it's been transferred. That could be anywhere from 150 to 200. But I very rarely get those when I'm dealing with any type of auction. Because if you go back to current owner and you go back who they bought it from, generally speaking, you'll find all the problems. So when I buy foreclosures. So foreclosures, the train of thought is no lender is going to loan $100,000 without there being good title. So you can kind of say, okay, the title's good from one owner back. And we covered that in the foreclosure summit too. Got some good questions, brother.
Yeah, man. Listen, I mean, I've been studying real estate for years, man. I've been studying real estate for years. Just finding my footing and making sure my goal is, I heard it from a wise man, if you can't buy 5 of them, you shouldn't buy one, right?
What does that
that's
mean?
Just talking about pure. So basically, like, for example, you get a watch, right? Most people won't buy a Rolex or whatever, for example, but most people can't afford to buy 5 of them, right? So if you can't afford to buy 5 of them, you shouldn't buy one of them. And that's just basic consumption. Now, homes, of course, that's different because we're going to leverage, or we're going to use subject to, or tax liens, whatever your strategy is. But, on a consumer perspective, like I said, America is built on consumption. We consume a lot of things we don't need. And the reality is most people don't have 12 months worth of saving. I think the Federal Reserve of St. Louis has some statistic that most people, especially minorities, blacks, we don't even have $1,000 in savings in the bank, right? So car breakdown, what have you, can't even fix your car. So, you need at least 12 months worth of expenses. So at your minimum, if your expense is $2,000 a month, you need $24,000 in the bank, cash, liquid cash. So yeah, that's the philosophy, man. Just reading books, man. The Millionaire Next Door, you name it, man. Watching people like you, man. Yeah.
I'm not the typical flash. I drive a Honda. I like to carry the dudes I roll with. They go to the courthouse and they buy 3, 4, 5 houses. They have, the cap. They don't even need to show none of that. Those are that's my crew. But other crews, I'm not mad at people that like to have the cars and the stuff flashy. That's cool, as long as you got some horses in the stable. That's all I'm saying. Get some horses in the stable.
Right. I mean, the loudest dude in the room is usually the softest, but the loudest, flashiest, most flamboyant guy in the room is usually the one that's really broke, right? So it's not necessary. Bill Gates shops at Walmart. He wears like Payless and Birkenstocks. So having all the fly stuff is superficial, man.
What does it do? My thing is, what is it doing for black people? What is it? I gotta ask myself, what is this doing for black people? What am I doing, right? So
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we just got a form of reparations. If you want, some people, you can use a different adjective rather, and call it a stimulus.
Oh yeah,
got a stimulus. But most people, it's reparations, man. The government just gave you $5,000. Now, granted, a lot of people need that money who are living paycheck to paycheck, but there are some people who don't really need it, and they took it and they blew it instead of going to buy some stocks or going to buy a property or putting a down payment on an asset. They just blew that money. Me, I took all that money honestly and paid some bills to stimulate the economy, but 70% of it went to stocks, cryptocurrency, etc.
Good for you, bro. Good for you, John. You sound like your future's very bright, bro.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, God willing, man. I'm trying, man.
I know it's got to be rough.
Yeah, it is, man. But I appreciate you, man. Taking the time to school me, give me the knowledge, man. You know, you being an old school dude or just an older gentleman rather, and appreciate, it costs, but you gotta use your money wisely, and I think this is a good investment, that can pay 10, 20 times, 100 times over.
Yeah, it can if you do that. Yep. Yeah, it's been an honor to meet you, man. Thank you for letting me serve. It's an honor.
Sure, no problem.
I'm gonna do some Q&A. You hold Untitled, you gone.
Yeah, man, I got to get back to work, man. I got work, man. On the side, freight broker business, so got to get to that, man.
Wait. Hey, man, let's stay in touch. I gotta hear more about China, dog. I want to get over there.
Sure, for sure. No problem, man. Appreciate you, man. And if you can send me those links, man, email them to me. That'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that. All right, John.
Cool,
nice to
man.
meet you, bro.
All right, brother. All right, man. Travel light.
Yeah, you too. Round up. This is cool. We got a new member here, Naturally Nature. What up? Naturally Nature. You doing it big with that. Round up. That was John. He was in China. Wasn't that cool? Have a consultation. John was paying the bill today. I wasn't even going to go live today, merely because it's my wife's birthday. Can everybody please wish my wife happy birthday? Happy birthday, not birthday, for allowing me to do this. Right? She's the one that lets me do this. She's got the kids. She makes sure they eat lunch and all that stuff on her birthday. And I'm still working, right? With John, it's an honor to meet the gentlemen. Honor to meet Big Brother. I want to live in Thailand but invest. I don't know about that one. I'm sure I can do it, though. Trinidad, what up? Micaiah, what's up, my brother? Kenneth. Q&A. Yeah, we'll do it quick. Gene, what up, homie? We're stepping out, taking risks, overcoming the... That's right. He did. That was crazy, right? He got some serious Gene, he's got some serious guts. Moved to China. Round up. Make sure I'm asking you to support our channel. There's a little button right there. It says join the channel. I'm asking just a little. I wanted to give my entrepreneurs and busy professionals a little something extra. I will get your questions first. And it's only going to cost you nothing but a Starbucks coffee once a month. We get those questions first. Jay DeWalt, you got to get subject to another creative financing. That's right. That's right, Gene. You're absolutely right, brother. Happy birthday. Let me get my wife in here. Hold on a second. Let me get her in here. Let me get my wife to say hello. She's never been on one of my things. Maybe she'll come say hi. Hold tight, y'all. Let's see if I get my wife. Babe? Where's that? Golly. I'm sorry, y'all. This is what I'll do. Since apparently I guess she went to do some lunch. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. But I will come back on here tonight. If y'all will please wish my wife a birthday. I'm going to show her this too. It's crazy. Art, month of the book. Oh, the book of the month is 15. Matter of fact, I need to do that this weekend. 15 invaluable laws of growth. 15 invaluable laws of growth. We'll be going over that in a few days. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you, guys. I'm going to show this to my wife when I get back. I guess she went to lunch. We got any Q&A here? I cannot wait to show y'all. You guys know I was with Stephanie McAnuff last week. Driving mobile home parks. I got some footage for you. It's going to blow your mind. Stephanie's just a monster. Kenneth, you don't have to... Chris, don't you have to show escrow the trust documents before closing? Yes, you will have to show that your trust exists before you can get the deed. That's a good one, Kenneth. You do absolutely have to do that. Dennis, this is what I want to purchase. Yeah, subject to. Good for you. Siobhan, hey, from Maryland. Nice smile. Sub to and trust. Do you bring the mortgage current at the settlement office or prior to settlement? Prior to. Let me see. I forgot. It's prior to, before, or after? Prior to. Before a particular time. So prior to, before. Siobhan, we never, ever bring anybody's loan current until we get that deed. Never do that. From Maryland. Now I want to make sure that we don't get that pretty smile in trouble. Siobhan, we do it after or at the time of closing, either at closing or after. I bought houses, boom, and left the payments in arrears. Let me repeat that. Siobhan, I have bought houses, say they're 3-4 months behind. I've done the transaction, boom, boom, boom. And then I have to wait for the people to get out because I don't want to bring it. Say you bring it current and then they don't want to get out for a month, 2-3 months. Then you're looking real crazy, right? Because they don't have any motivation to get out. So I usually don't even bring it current until they're out. What about divorce? What do you mean? Azira, I don't know about that one. Hey, it's like putting your name on a house in a folder and put that folder in another folder. That's right. Good point there. Good point there. Queens. John Boy, parents of God-fearing good folk. I don't know what was John DeWalt. Might have been, Mark. Charles, you got my docs. They work great. Praise God. I love it. I love it. I'm so honored to share with this stuff, man. Yeah, if you need business credit lines, go right there to the website. If you need that website, I'll give it to you. Gulfport, Mississippi. Jonathan. Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar. Mark, sorry about that. I didn't get to that while he was on. He paid for a consultation, so I wanted to make sure that I got his questions answered. I'll ask him, though, if you're from Farmers area. Oh, boy. Zacchaeus. I was about to make that mistake. I make $50,000 looking at a $200,000. Yes. Save your money. Don't get maxed out. Don't get maxed out on debt. Don't get maxed out on debt. Is my wife here? Oh, my wife might be. Princess! Babe! Maybe I can get her, y'all. Hold tight. Princess! Maybe it wasn't her. That ain't her. No, their marriage was about a mistake. Love tax liens. Thomas Covington. Chris, I love how forthcoming and willing I am to share. Oh, wow. That is cool. It's an honor, my friend. It's an honor. You know, here's the thing, man. I think about Thomas. I think about the world and the problems that existed before I got here and the problems that will exist after I leave. And all I can do is try to focus on this little bit of time that I'm here, dude. I promise you, that's how I look at it. My purpose is trying to right some of the wrongs that were here before I got here, and they'll be here after I leave. That is where I get my purpose from. Mark, I think tax deeds and liens are more seasoned players. Yeah, I would agree with that. A lot of hidden stuff. Sade, question. Before you acquire the property, how are you checking to see if child support put a lien? I noticed the title reports are coming back with child support info. Let me tell you something. That will be on I got one now with a thick guy owes $80,000 in child support. And I want you to know, Sade, that you can negotiate child support liens and judgments. So that will turn up on a title search. John, you got to get subject to. You'll come all the way up. That is true. Subject to will bring you up real quick. Fashion industry is for broke people. You know, Zacchaeus. I was in Georgia at the Gucci store the other day. I'm like, why are these people going in this store spending $2,000 on a purse? Consultation page. On a purse about this big, a clutch, right? I'm like, why are you spending that much money? Page up. I feel bad for people. Maybe they got more houses than me. I'm like, I got a bunch of houses. And I'm not even, my wife's like, it's just not a good use of our resources. 3 kids. They're walking out with their Gucci bag. I'm good. I think the problem is for us is we don't have a lot of financial resources. So we want to project what we may not have, but what we want to have, which a lot of us could have that. Janika, there's more when they get a cab. Please don't refer to them as stimulus check reparation. It's not. I'm glad you read. Good. That's a good point. Happy birthday. What did I get her? Steve, you messing with me. We just went to Atlanta. We went to dinner. I don't know. We got her a trip. I guess the trip was her birthday. That was her birthday present. I took her to Atlanta. I'm gonna bring her back on here tonight, y'all. Y'all can tell her happy birthday. And I'm gonna show her this. I'm gonna show her. Look at this. Happy birthday. Taylor, is that you? Princess? Darn, she's not here. Did I miss the question? Yeah, I gave you Siobhan. I went over your question earlier. That pretty smile. I want to get that pretty smile in trouble. Don't confuse that stimulus with a. All right, let me get out of here. Any lenders for newbies? Yes, Procnef. Lenders for newbies. Go to that. Shoot, I put it in the comments. I'll put it. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the description below. Go to Fund and Grow. Let me see if I can get it again. Fund and Grow. I'll put it in the comments. Here it is here for the newbies. There's a stop sharing that. Here's the newbie. I put it in the chat, and I'll put it in the comment below for lenders for newbies. That's right. Moving to oh man. So I gotta get out of here, y'all. It's my wife's birthday. I love you. We'll be coming out. Matter of fact, we're working on a training course for newbies, y'all, with Dutch. A real estate wholesaling course. Listen, I'm gonna be back on here later tonight. If y'all don't mind singing happy birthday and just saying happy birthday to my wife. Thank you for that wishes. I'll see you guys soon. All right, peace.